Kill the lights, grab your headphones, and play this after midnight. I'm counting down 10 horror games that hit different in the dark. Games that don't just jump scare you, they make silence feel hostile. One of these will have you pausing the game, just to listen to your own hallway tonight. Coming in at number 10. No One Lives Under the Lighthouse, Director's Cut. Released in April 2020, this is slow burn folk horror, where you arrive on a lonely island to replace a missing keeper and do the unglamorous work. Keep the lighthouse running, follow routines, and sit with the silence until the silence starts feeling wrong. It hits hardest at night because it doesn't spam jump scares. It lets normal settle first. Then you begin questioning every creak, every shadow, every tiny sound that shouldn't be that loud in an empty place. Steam backs it up. Very positive, 87%. With more than 2,000 reviews. It's also one of those games people describe with movie comparisons. Many have specifically recommended it for fans of The Lighthouse because of that salty, isolated, paranoid mood. And horror outlet Bloody Disgusting highlighted its haunting atmosphere and retro presentation, calling it a short but satisfying horror experience. Our play tip? Keep the room quiet and don't rush objectives. The dread is in the routine. If you finish this feeling unsettled, number 9 is about to lock you in a metal box with nowhere to run. At number 9, Iron Lung. The premise is instantly panic-inducing. You're piloting a tiny submarine through an ocean of blood on an alien moon, with almost no visibility. The game's genius is how trapped it makes you feel. Your world is a cramped cockpit, a few instruments and a camera, while the real nightmare lives outside your view. Every decision feels loud, every stop feels risky, and the silence between events becomes its own kind of threat. On Steam, it has a 92% review score across more than 6,500 user reviews. Released March 9th, 2022. Vice called it one of the most terrifying games they'd ever played, and straight up told people to go play it. It's so cult-loved it's getting a movie adaptation directed by Markiplier, with a theatrical release date reported for January 30th, 2026. Play it full screen with headphones and no pausing. Dim the room until the monitor is basically your only light. But number 8 switches from cosmic claustrophobia to something way more this could happen. Fears to Fathom, Ironbark Lookout. You're a young fire lookout posted in a state park, and the horror isn't fantasy. It's the slow realization that something is off in the woods, and you don't have backup on speed dial. This game weaponizes normal life. Late-night radio chatter, driving dark roads, checking the porch, deciding whether to open the door. It's uncomfortable because it feels plausible, like a story you'd hear from someone who survived and still won't go camping. 91% with more than 2,500 English reviews. The official description frames the whole series as an episodic psychological horror anthology, narrated by the ones who survived, and Ironbark is one installment inside that anthology. A big reason it feels grounded. Coverage has noted episodes pull from true stories submitted by fans to the developer. Play with your window uncovered. When the game makes you stare into darkness outside the cabin, you will jump at your own reflection. At number 7, The Closing Shift. This is late-night job horror done with scary restraint. You're closing a small cafe, making drinks, cleaning up, dealing with customers. And the longer the shift goes, the more the normal routine starts bending into paranoia. It's the kind of game where nothing has to lunge at you, because your brain is already sprinting. Made by Chilla's Art, they're a small Japanese indie studio run by two brothers, known for short, lo-fi J-horror stories that turn everyday places, stores, apartments, workplaces, into nightmare zones. Tokyo Weekender talked to them about their rapid rise and how they've been taking the world of horror games by storm. Released in March 2022, The Closing Shift sits at 90% positive on Steam, across 1,700 plus reviews. And reviews like Rice Digital basically frame it as another strong entry in Chilla's Art's immersive horror lane, highlighting its psychological horror angle and walking sim with puzzle-solving structure. Play it with headphones, low brightness, and don't rush dialogues, but the next game is about to throw you into a VHS-era slasher vibe that feels illegally tense. Number 6, The Murder House. This is pure throwback survival horror energy. Low poly visuals, chunky movement, fixed angles if you want them, and that constant "I should not be here" feeling. It's built like an old-school slasher movie you accidentally stepped into, except you're the one holding the controller when things go sideways. It's a cult favorite for a reason. The retro style doesn't make it less scary, it makes it more personal. At night, your room goes quiet, and suddenly every creak in the game feels like it could be coming from your own hallway. The pacing is tight, the spaces feel boxed in, and the tension spikes fast when you realize you can't just brute force confidence. Steam score check. 95% positive from more 2,000 reviews. Released October 22nd, 2020. It's gotten real press love. Kotaku highlighted how the intentionally dated presentation and sound build panic in the moment. Bloody Disgusting called it a retro-styled slasher throwback and pointed to it as a spiritual successor to Puppet Combo's earlier work. Play tip: don't speedrun Brave. Move like you're actually trapped there. But the next game gets even worse because it turns routine work into a supernatural stress test. At number 5, The Mortuary Assistant. Released August 2nd, 2022, this game is terrifying because it starts as a job. You're learning procedures, doing careful tasks, staying focused, and then the horror begins slipping into the routine in ways that make you second-guess what you just saw. It's not loud all the time, it's patient. It waits until you feel safe, then it pulls the floor out from under you. What makes it perfect for night play is the way it forces attention. You can't just sprint past the fear. You still have to keep working, keep checking details, keep moving forward, while the atmosphere gets heavier and reality starts acting strange. When it's late and you're tired, that pressure hits harder because your brain is already more suggestible. 93% positive on Steam across 4,400 plus English reviews. And it's one of those rare indie horror hits that's crossed into mainstream attention. Deadline reported a feature film adaptation with Willa Holland and Paul Sparks attached. Play it with no distractions and try not to pause, because number 4 is where the horror stops feeling outside you and starts living in your head. Quick pause. If you're enjoying this list, hit like and subscribe to support the channel, and comment a game that's actually made you turn on the lights. Let's continue. Number 4 is where the horror stops feeling outside you and starts living in your head. Faith, the Unholy Trinity. The game that looks like a cursed 8-bit tape, but feels like a full-on exorcism in your living room. You play a young priest fighting demons, cultists, and your own fear. And it's terrifying because it's so stripped down. The visuals are simple on purpose, so your brain does the rendering and fills the darkness with the worst possible answers. And when you play at night, the quiet between moments hits harder, like the game is daring you to blink first. Steam even frames it as a pixel horror game inspired by classic 8-bit era vibes and the satanic panic of the 1980s. Steam score: 94% positive from more than 5,500 user reviews, and it was nominated in 3 categories at the Horror Game Awards, presented by Feardemic and IGN. And critically, it's been praised as standout minimalist horror, many calling it a must-play for horror fans. Play it with headphones, low brightness, and no background noise. Now here's where the list stops being a scary place and turns into a scary conversation. At number 3, Slay the Princess, the Pristine Cut. Released in October 2023, you're on a path in the woods, there's a cabin, and there's a princess in the basement. And the game dares you to decide what right even means, when every choice gets weaponized. What makes it insane at night is how personal it feels. The narrator talks to you like he knows you. The princess reacts like she remembers you. And the second you think you figured it out, the story pivots and makes you question whether you're the hero, the villain, or just the next victim of your own decisions. 97% positive on Steam across 20,089 English reviews and 90 Metacritic score. And award-wise, it's had a serious run. It won Player's Choice at the Horror Game Awards 2023, and later won Best Hidden Gem at the New York Game Awards. To really enjoy Slay the Princess, play it blind without any guide. At number 2, our runner-up is the opposite vibe, Signalis. Less talking, more atmosphere, and the kind of dread that sticks to you. Not every horror game needs to scream. Signalis whispers, and somehow that's worse. Released at October 2022, it's a classic survival horror throwback wrapped in cold sci-fi dread, tight inventory pressure, unsettling imagery, and a story that feels like you're remembering something you weren't meant to see. It's a mood game. The sound design and stillness do half the damage. You'll spend long minutes creeping, solving, conserving, and then the tension snaps, and you realize you've been holding your breath for real. 96% positive on Steam across 18,757 English reviews, and it earned silver wins for Best Debut and Best Independent Game at the 2023 NYX Game Awards. And it's been recognized more broadly, too. Its awards list includes wins like Best Hidden Gem at the New York Game Awards. Our play tip? Don't binge it like an action game. Short sessions make it hit harder, like a nightmare you keep returning to. But our Bumber 1 is where we ditch slow dread and go full survival panic. Lights matter, sound matters, every decision matters. Amnesia, the bunker. If you only play one game from this list at night, this is the one. A part of the highly successful Amnesia franchise, this is horror built around a simple idea. You're trapped in a World War I bunker. The darkness is your enemy, and something intelligent is hunting you. What makes it brutal is the constant trade-off. Do you spend precious fuel on light, or save it for later? Do you explore for supplies, or stay safe and starve? The bunker feels like a living maze, and the monster doesn't feel scripted. It feels like it's listening. At night, that turns every hallway into a dare. It's sitting at 94% positive on Steam, and PC Gamer called it one of the best straight-up horror games ever made, giving it a 93% review score. It was also nominated for Horror Game of the Year at the 2023 Horror Game Awards. And the secret sauce? This isn't a learn the route, memorize the scares type of horror. The bunker pushes you to improvise. You'll be backtracking with one match left, hearing a noise you can't place, and realizing you chose this. Even small actions feel loud. Even hesitation feels dangerous. It's the kind of game where silence doesn't mean safety. It means you're being sized up. Headphones, lights off, and no multitasking. When the bunker goes quiet, don't relax. That's usually when it's closest. If this list helped you find your next play at night nightmare, hit like and subscribe to support the channel. Comment which game you're starting first, and which one you refuse to touch after midnight. And if you want more lists like this, stick around and watch the next video.